It's my pleasure to introduce our guest today, คุณซันสเนสุภัทรวณิช who is a Managing Director of Ocean Glass Public Company Limited. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Well, it's been an outstanding year for you. You have so many things going on, and here at the 13th Gourmet World Festival, you also are the sole sponsor of wineware.
Okay, we're the official sponsor.
The official sponsor, exactly.
Okay, not the sole sponsor now. Okay,ค่ะ. Right. Well, today I'm very happy to be talking to you about Licorice, which is Asia's first crystal wineware. And yes, we are the proud sponsors of the 13th World Gourmet Festival here in Bangkok. This is probably the first time that we're taking part in this wonderful event where they're bringing, world-class chefs from all over the world. And obviously, it's time for them to be able to use some of the world-class quality crystal glassware that we have here in Asia.
Well, speaking of your world-class crystal wineware, you've just released a latest collection which is creating quite a stir in the wine world.
That's right. This is actually what you see here right now. During this event, we're going to use this opportunity to introduce the collection for this year, which is called Hong Kong Hip. Being Asian in a sense of for our brand, most of our series are all named through the modern Asian cities. Latest collection, Hong Kong Hip. Before this, we had obviously Bangkok Bliss, Tokyo Temptation, and Shanghai Soul. So the newest in our collection this year is Hong Kong Hip, which we introduced already in the Ritz-Carlton in Hong Kong. And this is a perfect timing in the World Gourmet Festival to be introducing it to ASEAN and using Bangkok obviously as the wonderful base to do this.
Well, having such a high-class quality product, you've attracted a lot of high-class people as well who know a thing or two about wine. One of them is a very well-known wine critic and author.
Exactly. We are very, very excited to have Jeannie Shou-Lee, who is Asia's first master of wine, here with us today. Jeannie is very reputable and well respected in the wine industry, and she's one of the forefront thinkers about a philosophy that is very, very close to what Licorice also believes in, and that is she's written her book related to the Asian palate.
Well, looking at the history of wineware, predominantly or mainly dominated through the centuries by European glassmakers, you're coming out from an Asia perspective, as you mentioned, joining two different philosophies. How did you go about really bridging the gap and making such a quality product that can compete with those ones that have been historically at the top?
You're right to say doing fine crystal wineware is a very young industry here in Asia, though it's been 200 years old in Europe. But for us, it's something totally new. Therefore, for Licorice, it is really about taking the best of East and West, which is really in our DNA of the whole brand. We use the latest technology from Europe. We use designs there. But again, the craftsmanship, the detail to quality formulations are what we work with our base here in Thailand and our Japanese partners, for example. So it's this bridging and bringing together the best of both worlds has always been part of our philosophy, but it also then allows us to leapfrog forward because we're coming in with some things that are just not from one source, but the best that we can get from everywhere. And I think that's how we are going to be able to compete in the world right now through something that's very, very unique coming out of Asia.
Well, looking at Asia, it's such a large market, a large growing market, I might say. People are really becoming and appreciating wine and becoming connoisseurs here. So being at the forefront as a company here in Asia, looking at Asia cuisine and pairing it with all kinds of wines, not just Asian wines, European wines all over around the world is quite a feat in itself.
Yes, and again, it's this idea of the fact that being a young region, experimenting about wine, learning about wine in a different way, which is what Jeannie also talks about. It allows us then to explore and enjoy cuisine and wines in a very different way. It's not the non-traditional way that perhaps has been established in European countries and their cultures, of matching and pairing this way, first course, second course, meats and so on. In Asia, you can think about these things in a totally different paradigm because, again, we have different kinds of food. We enjoy our eating and drinking in a totally sociably different way.
Well, I look forward to seeing much more Licorice here in Asia and around the world as well, and hopefully with some very good wine inside of it as well.
Exactly. Okay, then. Thank you
so
very much, Karen.
With me, we might say, is the lady of the hour, someone who needs no introduction, Miss Jeannie Cho Lee, who is the first Asian master of wine and an author of a very, very comprehensive book on pairing Asian palates together with world-class wines. Thank you very much for joining us.
No, you're welcome.
Well, you're here today, you're with Lucaris, looking to give your insights, your experience in a wine master class.
Yes.
How did this all come together?
I think it was a philosophy that we felt that we both shared, which is really trying to bring an understanding to the world of wine, and I suppose a perspective that only we living here and you know, enjoying everyday Thai food or Chinese food or different Asian cuisines could really understand, and looking at the practical aspects as well. But then, you know, when it comes to wine glasses, I think the philosophy of excellence and quality was also something that we felt we had in common, because you know, writing the book and the work that I do has always been based not just on an Asian standard, but on an international standard. So, they were very keen, Lucas was very keen to ensure that the message of world-class standards by a Thai-based company is possible for Western wines, not rice wines or local wines, but for Western wines, and that you could actually present it to the world and be proud that we've been able to come so far and achieve so much. So I admired them, and I think it was a kind of mutual respect.
Well, when we were speaking with Quinn Sunsini, she was mentioning that there was kind of the perfect encounter, trying to join two different philosophies, really, between the West and the East, and that coming out in this world-class wineware. And you also were there at the launch in Hong Kong,
Yes.
Conducting another wine masterclass there, and a blind tasting. What was your first impression with working with this new Asian wineware?
Well, first of all, I think just understanding that the company itself, Lucaris, is less than 3 years old and have come this far, is and to be present in nearly almost every outlet in Hong Kong that I know of, because I'm based there, and to have that kind of visibility and recognition from not just the industry, but from consumers as well as press people as well, I think they've achieved quite a bit. So I think my perspective about how I see them progressing in Asia is very fast, very quick, and typical of very successful Asian companies that feel as though they are part of this international market for wine glassware. For me, as a voice in the international wine community, it's very much the same. And people say, "Oh, well, it seems like you've done so much in the last several years," but I think it's also the environment in which we're operating, because everything has happened very quickly. If you look at the surge of wine popularity, it's been the highest rate of growth, especially in places like China, which is double digits every year, huge, tremendous growth. That would have been unimaginable 10 years ago. So we're riding the wave.
Well, it's also, when I think about, as you mentioned, in the growth that you're seeing in the interest in wines, the fact that there's so many more wines that are available to us from regions which were, before weren't the traditional areas. I know when we were talking before, you have wines coming out of South America, you have African wines, Australian wines,
Sure.
And all these different flavors coming together. Now, in some of those different tastes, you're actually conducting a wine dinner where you're bringing out some wines, pairing it together with this excellent wineware.
Yes.
What are those who are lucky enough to join, what do they get to experience?
Well, what we try to do is make sure that wherever we are, so when we were in Hong Kong launching Hong Kong Hip, I made sure that our menu that evening, and also for the classes, if we did a pairing like we are today, is really based on traditional Cantonese flavors. So here in Bangkok, all the dishes that we're going to have today, 6, are very traditional, common dishes that you enjoy in Thailand. So I think that's one of the unique points. It's not trying to tailor things so that we're matching wine with I don't know, kind of a fusion dish or Italian or French. It's been done before. It's not new or different, and it's trying to make people feel more comfortable when they have something spicy. That wine might work. It might even make it taste better.
In all your experiences that you've had here in Asia and all the different wines that you've tried, if you had to think of one really good wine that went with a really good meal,
Yes.
does one stick out in your mind?
Yes, it does. Yes, I would say one particular unity that I think is going to be universally accepted in the world of Asian food and wine pairing is going to be Peking duck with Pinot Noir. There is really no better combination than the two. And I know Peking duck comes in various ways, whether it's more or less fatty, whether you have it with the skin by itself or with the meat pieces. I mean, no, it doesn't matter in this case, I would say. And the only thing that does matter a bit is how much plum sauce you put on it. The more plum sauce you use, the more fruity of a Pinot Noir you need. So I would probably gravitate more toward like a New Zealand type of Pinot Noir. And the more refined it is and the less sweet plum sauce you use, and you probably maybe add more spring onions instead, I would gravitate more toward a red Burgundy, a fine red Burgundy. So that is the gradation, but at least the one tenet of this pairing is that Peking duck and Pinot Noir are beautiful. Is a beautiful pairing made in heaven.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Good morning. Welcome back to Culturally Yours. I'm Bon Jacobson. As we all know, art reflects life, and we can learn about life in the art gallery. Burning Sunlight by Anurag Thamsomboon presents mixed media sculptures created in natural forms and man-made, inspired by the everyday living of humans who have to encounter obstacles, share happiness, experience sufferings, and fulfill needs in both good and bad way. The artist reflects his own life's lesson and aspects of his life through his unique and meaningful artworks. This exhibition will be on until September the 30th at Ardell Gallery of Modern Art. For more information, please check www.ardellgallery.com. And now let's take a look at Thai culture in Thai trends, from local wisdom to international wisdom. Produced in honor of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej 84th birthday celebration, this art exhibition is a fresh look at artistic and creative activities during the long and eventful reign of King Rama IX. More than 300 artists, ranging from highly revered national artists to young emerging talents, display their artistic forms via painting, sculpture, printmaking, photography, installing, performance, and experimental art. The exhibition will be shown until November the 4th at Bangkok Art and Culture Center. For more information, contact bacc.or.th. Wow, isn't it all truly awesome? Well, I hope you enjoy all the events that we have selected for you today. I'll see you next week. For today, Culturally Yours and me, Bon Jacobson. สวัสดีค่ะ